Hiya! So today I am talking a little bit about starting HRT as a trans woman. Who's got any actually knows when I do these videos? Don't know what that is. Anyway, um, so after coming out as trans at the beginning of 2019, I was really keen to kind of move things really fast for a number of reasons. I think I wanted to be true to myself. I'm like a all or nothing kind of person, and I didn't want to just do things by halves and just do bits and bobs here and there because it wasn't true to me. I needed to just go out and fully be me as much as I possibly could. Um, so I was really keen to get on with this journey. I'd known who I was for a long time, um, and although it was early days for a lot of people finding out who I was and what I was, I guess, it for me it was a huge thing. I'd been going through a lot of my life, especially the last year or so leading up to me coming out, knowing who I was and fearing coming out and just trying to process living in this body that I was in. And it wasn't comfortable at all for me. So I was very keen to start my journey as much as I possibly could. There were a lot of difficult issues that I had to deal with in my relationship at the time, and I probably moved a little bit quick in consideration of that relationship. But for me, it was the right move, um, and I apologize for whatever transpired from that. But you can't apologize for being you at the same time. So here I am being me. That's what I was doing. So by the summer of 2019, I really needed to get on for some kind of treatment to kind of help with my gender dysphoria, I suppose. I was very hairy, I was very masked. I needed my hair to grow, I needed a lot of things changing. I needed to feel more aligned in my body. I knew that the NHS wait list for gender hormone therapy was very, very long. And so I looked into private medical care. There were a couple of companies that I knew of after a little bit of research and chatting to different people. And I decided to go with the one because financially it was better for me at that point. Obviously, do your research, don't rush into anything. Try if you can not to get your meds if this is your journey. Try not to get your meds from like unregulated sources. Let's leave it like that, okay? You need to be safe. I The way I dealt with it was going with this private company who gave me my gender dysphoria diagnosis, I suppose. Um, Once I had that, I was able to pay for meds online, pay for my testosterone blocker, and pay for my estrogen, and at the time my what else was it again? Finasteride and progesterone. Um, but it was very expensive. So I had a chat with my local GP, who were very, very lovely, and we managed to sort out a shared care agreement. So although I was paying, excuse me, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 quid a month subscription to this private company to manage my prescriptions, and to obviously, authorize my diagnosis, all of my meds were coming through my GP. And because I'm in Wales, I don't have to pay for prescriptions, which is great. It saved me a lot of money, probably a few £100 a month. Um, Once I started, it was a bit like, when you start something and you kind of feel like changes are happening so fast. They weren't, but I felt so positive about things, and very desperate for things to change that I was totally caught off guard when my hormones started getting a bit squiffy, let's say, I started to become less grumpy and angry, more emotional. Um, my biggest experience of this was I was in my local co-op, which is a local supermarket for those of you who don't know what the co-op is, and I was looking at the sandwiches. Just we were getting like meal deals and stuff for a day trip, and I couldn't decide on what sandwich to have. And I'm not necessarily an indecisive person, but in that moment, I just felt a little bit indecisive, got a little bit anxious with it, and my hormones just flared up, and I ended up having to walk away from the sandwiches, and and I cried over them, over the options that were available. And it's not because there was nothing there that I would have eaten. It was just that it was very overwhelming, um, and it affected me, and it made me cry. Nowadays, I cry over so many different things. I cry over so many different TV programs and movies, and sometimes music and things that I see in the street. But honestly, I am an emotional wreck a lot of the time, as a lot of my friends and family will vouch for. And I've always been a sensitive soul, but honestly now, I'm a crier. I'm a big crier. But it's so good, so good to be able to get my emotions out in a healthy way, you know, like it's a lot healthier than getting angry and depressed. Let's just leave it like that. The changes to my body happened slowly over time. Obviously, some breast development, um, the hair thinning and loss kind of slowed and then stopped. My skin softened and my face, like distribution of things changed a little bit. Um, and my body hair really slowed down. I still have little bits here and there that I have to deal with in different ways, but it definitely had a big change to my appearance for myself as well as everyone else. Um, where I'm at now is I'm going to have to continue to take them for the rest of my life. Um, Not only to keep my body the way it is, I suppose, or to keep it moving in the right direction, but mainly to balance my internal hormones to keep me having androgens because I don't have testosterone in my body anymore. Um, but yeah, thank the world for HRT because without that, you can get physical surgeries and things, but to balance yourself internally, the chemistry of your body with your mind is so grounding and so amazing. And I am so grateful that I was able to go through that and that I am still able to continue that. If you are looking to start your HRT journey, speak to anyone maybe who has been through it. Um, do a lot of research before you commit to anything. If you are super keen to rush through things, please make the time to research and to ensure that you're going with um, like safe providers, safe doctors, and pharmacists and whatever, because the last thing you want is to take something that is going to cause harm to you or to be misdiagnosed for whatever reason. Um, but if you do all the right things in the right way, you will hopefully feel as ecstatic about the way you are as I do. I wish you luck with the rest of your journey. I've got so much more to say. But for now, it's bye bye, and I'll see you later. Bye.